What's up, YouTube? It's Jenny YGO, and I'm here again. It has been like 2 years, but I have returned. So I was gone for a while because well, just I had life things to do. I had things to do in life, but now I am back, and I will be hopefully uploading more frequently. Hopefully. That's not a promise. I think I promised last time. I can't even remember, it's been so long, but I think last time I promised like, oh, I'll do a virtual world deck profile or I'll do DDD deck profile if people are interested, and like, I just never did. But we're back now, and I have got Speedroid with me. So Speedroid is a deck that I find really fun because it's kind of like Fluffle in a way to me, where it doesn't feel like the deck is ever stopped by like just one hand trap or like one interruption. It feels like the deck can keep going provided your hand allows you to keep going. And it feels like a deck that's also kind of slept on by people because it takes a while to master. But I've been playing this deck for a while now, and I really enjoy it. I really like this deck. I think it's super fun. Synchro summoning is probably my second favorite mechanic in the game. So this deck really, it really appeals to me. But I'll just go straight into the deck profile now, and we'll just start with the main deck monsters. So, for start, we have the one everybody knows, Speedroid Terror Top. So this card is limited to 1 on the ban list, otherwise we'd probably play triple copies of it. If you control no monsters, you can summon it from your hand, and when it's normal or special summoned, you can add a Speedroid monster from your deck to your hand. Pretty simple effect. One that a lot of people know because it is limited to 1 on the ban list, because it used to be played at 3 with another card that we will be getting into soon. But yeah, it's just you play it because it's great. It's a searcher, it's your Stratos of the deck, except you can special summon it. But the funny thing is, a lot of the time you are actually normal summoning this card because you already control monsters, and that's because the Link monster allows you to kind of search it. We'll get into the Link monster when we get to it. But yeah, solid card. You obviously play with the one of it. Now we'll get into our normal summons. So for our first normal summon, we play 3 Speedroid Marble Machine. So Marble Machine is like Terror Top, where when it's normal summoned, it allows you to add a Speedroid monster. However, this locks you into win monsters for the rest of the turn. But you don't care about that because you only play wins. It has a scale effect. It is a pendulum monster, but you don't care about it. It's just when your defense position monster is targeted for attack, you can change it to attack position, and it can't be destroyed by battle this turn. It's a neat effect, but I don't think it's ever come up for me. I've never scaled this card. You don't have any other pen scales in this deck besides like Clearwing Fast Dragon, and that's a scale 4, so there's a potential to pendulum summon, but you are never really pendulum summoning in this deck. The fact it's a pendulum monster makes almost 0 difference. But solid card, you played 3 of it because it's just a Stratos. Next, triple Speedroid Ultra Hound. So Ultra Hound is one of the newer Speedroids, and it also has a normal summon effect, which is good because this deck was kind of lacking on normal summons. And I personally like to play, you know, as many normal summons in this deck as I can get, because a lot of the deck does special summon on its own. So when Ultra Hound is normal summoned, it allows you to send any Speedroid card from your deck to the grave, which is a pretty solid effect for sending a lot of cards that we'll be getting into as we go through the deck profile. And it also has a graveyard effect where it can shuffle a Speedroid in the grave into the deck, and then you get to special summon a Speedroid from your extra deck with the same level that monster had that you shuffled back. And that's pretty solid for follow-up, because it means you can shuffle away any of your level 3s to summon a Speedroid tuner, that being High Speedroid Cork Shooter. And you could potentially shuffle back like a level 5 Synchro to summon another level 5 Synchro, if you wanted to do that. So it's a pretty solid card for recycling, and yeah, it's just a really solid card for recycling and for its normal summon effect. So, you know, really cool card for the deck. I absolutely play it at 3. Some lists only play 1 or 2, but I feel like you need to see, as you know, you don't have many normal summons, so you want to see at least 1 in your hand. So I play 3, and I quite like it at 3. I don't think I'd cut it down anytime soon. So now for our extenders. First, Speedroid Takatomborg. So this is one that everyone will also probably know, along with Terror Top. So This card, if you control a wind monster, you can just summon it from your hand. You can only special summon it once per turn, which does matter. However, usually you're just summoning it from hand with its effect. It has another effect, which a lot of people don't know because they only ever used it for its special summon effect along with Terror Top. But it contributes itself to summon a Speedroid tuner from your deck. And you do actually very much care about this effect because it is very good for the deck. You cannot summon except for winds the turn you use this, but as I've said before with Marble Machine, that does not matter in this deck. You're only playing winds. So next, our next extender is 3 Speedroid Car Turbo. So this card has the same effect as Terror Top, where if you control a wind, you can special summon it, and then you're locked into winds. Then it has another effect where you can banish it and another Speedroid, and all wind monsters on your field gain 800 attack until the end of the turn. And that's really, really nice for OTKing because it makes OTKing a lot easier in this deck. And it also means that some hands that wouldn't otherwise be OTK, you know, they do kill. So really solid card, good extender, as well as a neat graveyard effect that does matter. So now we'll get into the other Speedroid monsters that we don't play at 3. First, we have 2 Speedroid Den Daiko Duke. So this card, you can banish it from your grave to special a Speedroid from your hand or graveyard. Really solid effect. The reason you play 2 is 1 for your first turn and the second one for follow-up. You don't mind drawing it because you do have ways to get it out of your hand, but you'd prefer to just have it in deck for you to send either off of Ultra Hound or for you to just summon off of Takatomborg so that you can get it in the grave once you link or synchro it away. So solid enough card. I'd only play 2. I wouldn't cut it down because I do like it at 2, but I wouldn't play it at 3 at all. It's not a card you want to see in your hand. And then for the 1-ofs, we play 1 Speedroid Fuki Midoshi Piper and 1 Red-Eyed Dice. So Piper has the effect where if it's normal or special summoned, it can excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of other wind monsters you control, and then you can just add one of those cards to your hand. It doesn't have to be like a Speedroid card, it can be any card you excavate. So that can be really nice because even if you normal Marble Machine and then add Takatomborg, special it, tribute it, and then summon the Piper, then you just get to excavate 1 and it's basically like a draw 1. So that's really nice. It also has a graveyard effect where you can banish it and then reduce a wind monster on the field's level by 2. This can come up, but it doesn't come up frequently. So usually this card is staying in your graveyard for you to revive with Den Daiko Duke on follow-up turns. But good card, I play 1 of it. You don't need to play more of it. You're not looking to see this card in your hand. You're looking to summon it off of Takatomborg. Next, Speedroid Red-Eyed Dice. So when it's normal or special, you can target a Speedroid you control, except itself, and declare a level from 1 to 6, and that monster becomes that level. Good card for synchro shenanigans. Some lists play it at 2 because of a card called Speedroid Wheel, which I will discuss when I get to it. But I only play 1 of it. I don't want to see this card in my hand. I only want it to be in my deck or in my graveyard. I don't want to see it in my hand, so I only play 1. I was playing 2, but I absolutely hated seeing this card in my hand, and yeah, so I just play 1. You can try out 2, but from my experience, I didn't like 2. Now for the non-Speedroid wind monsters that we play 2 Kashtira Unicorn. This got hit on the ban list recently. Used to play 3, but only play 2 now. If you control no monsters, you can summon it from your hand like Terror Top. And it also has the effect where you can add a Kashtira spell. You can add a Kashtira spell from your deck to your hand. We play Kashtira Birth because that's the reborn. And it's really nice for this deck because it means you can summon Kashtira Unicorn, link or synchro it away, and then just bring it back. It also has another effect where if your opponent activates a monster effect, you can then, after that effect resolves, look through their extra deck and banish 1 card from it face down. So that is really, really solid. So sometimes you'll even end with Kashtira Unicorn still face up on the field, and that can be really hard for some decks to out or to deal with. So we're playing 2 because it got limited to 2, otherwise we'd play 3. I still play it. I think some lists might cut it, but I think it's still a good card. Then I'm also playing 1 Wandering Griffin Rider to make up for the missing Kashtira Unicorn. This is what we played before Kashtira Unicorn. It's just a level 7 wind monster that allows you to summon itself if you control no monsters. And I think it's really good. So we're playing 3 level 7s that can just summon themselves and that are also winds. And yeah, so that does it for the wind monsters. Then for hand traps, we're playing triple effect Veiler. I think it's alright, this format. I might cut it for something like Bell or Ghost Ogre, depending on how the format shakes out. We're not exactly sure what the best deck is or what is exactly going to be the best. But I'm going to play triple effect Veiler for now, and then triple Ash Blossom because this card is just Ash Blossom, you know? So that does it for the monsters. I'm just going to put them all together there. And now we will be going on to the spells. So for spells, we've got triple Speedroid Wheel. So this is the card I was talking about with red-eyed dice. You can discard a card, roll a 6-sided dice, and then you can special up to 2 Speedroid monsters whose levels add up to that number. So the reason people would play triple red-eyed dice is double red-eyed dice is because if you rolled a 2, you'd be able to summon 2 Speedroids. However, I didn't think this was as necessary as other people think. I don't like drawing red-eyed dice, so I only play the 1. If I roll a 2, I roll a 2. I'm just accepting my fate. This is still, this is still a free special summon from deck. Potentially a double E-Telly from deck. Their effects are negated, however, you do have to note that. And if you don't special summon, you lose life points equal to the result times 500. But typically you have something to summon. If you don't have something to summon, something has gone wrong. But yeah, really solid card. You played at 3 because obviously who wouldn't play a double E-Telly from deck? The discard can come in handy when you draw Denden Daiko Duke. But again, only play 2 of that card. But really solid card. You sometimes search it off Cork Shooter, and yeah, really good card. Play 3. Next, triple speed recovery. So this is the deck's reborn, and it also has an effect where during the main phase, except it was sent to the turn it was sent to the graveyard, it can banish itself to add a Speedroid from your graveyard to your hand. So double recovery basically for the deck, which is really, really nice. It's also not a hard once per turn, so if you draw multiple of it, you can just keep reborning. So yeah, really good card. I played at 3. I might cut it to 2, I'm not exactly sure, but at the moment I like 3. And yeah, that's what I'm going to stick with for now. Then we have the 1 Kashtira Birth that we're searching off of Unicorn. It allows you to reborn a Kashtira from your grave once per turn. And also you can normal summon level 7s without tributing, but you don't really care about that as much. And then it has another effect where if your opponent activates a spell card and you control a Kashtira, you can target 3 cards in their grave and banish them. So this can come up, I guess, if you end on the Unicorn. Like I said, you can, but it doesn't come up too often, but you care more about the reborn effect. And this is a continuous spell, so if they don't remove it and they clear your board, you can still on the next turn reborn with Kashtira Birth again. So that's really solid. Then for power spells, I play 1 Callby and 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. Duster is just nice to have as a one-of in this deck because you do a good bit of drawing and searching and excavating off of Piper. Callby also nice this format, I think, maybe. But it's really just filling out deck space. Moving on to the traps, we have double Speedroid Duplicate. So this card is really, really nice. So you can banish a wind monster from your graveyard to target a card your opponent controls and just bounce it to return it to the hand. And then during the main phase, if it's in the graveyard, you can target a Speedroid you control with a level higher than, like a level 2 or higher. You can reduce its level by 1, and then it summons itself as a level 1 tuner. So this is really nice with Ultra Hound because it means when you normal summon Ultra Hound and you can send Duplicate, Duplicate can activate its effect, make Hound a 2 and summon itself as a level 1 tuner. And then with those, you make a level 3 Synchro, that being your high Speedroid Cork Shooter. So yeah, it's a really nice card. It is a hard once per duel on the second effect. However, the bounce effect is not a hard once per turn. So if you draw 2 of this card and you decide not to discard it or to get rid of it, you can potentially end on a double bounce, which is kind of nice. So yeah, I really like this card. I play 2, obviously, because 1 you search for your M board with Cork Shooter, and the other one you use for your combos with Ultra Hound. So yeah, 2 is nice. I'd consider maybe going to 3, but I don't think I'll do it anytime soon. And then finally, to round it out, we have triple Impermanence. So we're playing 9 hand traps. Just a really, really solid hand trap this format. And yeah, very nice card. And that makes the deck 40 cards. So we're playing a clean 40 cards. And yeah, I don't think I'd go up higher than that. There are some cards you can add, like there's a card called Speedroid Rubber Band Shooter, which is a level 5. However, I found that I never really used that card, and it just kind of clogged my hands when I was in it, so I cut it. But we're going to go on to the extra deck now, and we have Synchros. So to start, we'll talk about High Speedroid Cork Shooter. So really nice level 3 Synchro tuner. So its effect is when it's Synchro summoned, you can activate one of the effects, add a Speedroid spell trap, so you can add your Speedroid wheel or your duplicate, and then its other effect you can choose to activate is if all monsters that were used for the Synchro summon are in the graveyard, you can just bring them back from the grave. And their effects aren't negated, which is something interesting. You can't special summon the turn you activate except wind monsters, but again, we don't care about that restriction. We're only playing wind monsters that we want to special summon. And yeah, this is just a really solid card. I play 2 because one is for your start turn and the second one is for Hound to summon. So you can recycle one of your level 3s and then summon a Cork Shooter. So that's really nice. It being a tuner is also really cool and interesting. And yeah, it's just a really solid card and you play 2. I wouldn't cut it down to 1 and I wouldn't bump it up to 3. I think 2 is the perfect number for this card. Next, we have the level 5 Speedroid monsters. So we have High Speedroid Kambara and High Speedroid Hagoida. So Kambara's effect is mainly for OTKing. It can attack twice during the battle phase, and if it attacks at the start of the damage step, it gains 200 attack. So you'll attack, it gains up to 22, and attack again, it gains up to 24. So that is 46 damage on its own. So that's pretty nice. If it is sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Speedroid cards and add it to your hand, and this does come up, so this is like a nice card for that reason. However, sometimes you're banishing it off of your Link monster, and other times using it for OTKing. But the banish effect when it's sent to grave does come up, so that is important to watch out for. Next, High Speedroid Hagoida. So this card is mainly used for comboing, because if it's in the graveyard and you control a Speedroid tuner, you can summon it from your graveyard just for free. So what typically happens is you'll synchro this card away to make like a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and then you'll activate Denden Daiko Duke to bring back that tuner you used, and then you can activate a Goida to bring itself back, and then you can make another Crystal Wing. So that is a frequent occurrence in this deck, and it's a really nice card for that reason. It also has an effect where during either player's turn, you contribute it and increase the levels of all monsters currently on the field by 1. This can be funny as an endport piece against something like Sprite or against other XCs or synchro-based decks that can't deal with their levels being modulated. So that is a kind of funny effect that this card does have and can use effectively. So yeah, really funny card in that regard, and you do sometimes end on it depending on the matchup. And it does kind of mess them up. So really fun card, for both effects. And yeah, just really nice. For level 6 Synchros, we're playing Charge Warrior, Adamancipator Raptide, and Virtual World Beast Juju. So Charge Warrior is the one you'll most often go into because when it's Synchro summoned, you get to draw 1 card. So what that means, when you normal summon your Marble Machine and add Takatomborg, you can special the Takatomborg, tribute it for Piper. Piper excavates 1, so you get to draw 1 basically. And then with the 4 and the 2, you can make Charge Warrior and draw another card. So you've basically drawn 2 off of 1 card. So that's really nice. It also has an effect to attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once each. For other decks, this wouldn't come up as much, but since we have Card Turbo, which can boost all wins by 800 attack, this can actually become a really good board breaker for beating over monsters because it becomes a 2800 attack monster that can attack multiple cards. So really nice card in that regard. Just a really solid card. Adamancipator Risen Raptide. This is what you're typically banishing off your Link monster if you want a level 6, and we'll get into the Link monster in a bit. It also has an effect where if you have a wind monster in your graveyard, during your opponent's turn, you can DD Crow basically a card from the graveyard. So that is really nice actually. That is a good solid effect against certain decks. Like if you play against, I don't know, someone playing Tearlament, or you play against another graveyard-based deck, that's a really, really nice card. Virtual Beast Juju. So this card is solid for multiple reasons. For one, it can become hard to out monster because it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects while you have 2 monsters in the grave with the same original type and attribute. Most of the cards in your deck, like all the main deck Speedroids, are wind machines, so you'll easily fulfill that condition so that it can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, so it can become a hard to out monster for some decks. You can banish 2 monsters with the same original type and attribute but different names from your graveyard to target 1 card in the field and send it to the graveyard. So that can be a really solid effect for outing hard to out monsters, because it's easy to get, again, your deck is all machine wins basically, so it's really easy to just banish 2 of them and then send a card on your opponent's field to the graveyard. So yeah, really solid card in two ways. I think these are all fine. I think some people don't play as many level 6 synchros, but I think 3 is a good number because it allows one of them to be banished off of your link and the other 2 to be summoned. So 1 on the first turn and 1 for the second turn for, for board clearing. So yeah, I think 3 is a good number. I've seen some people play level 7s instead of the Raptite, like Wind Pegasus Agnister. But I don't play any level 7 synchros in this deck because I just don't think they're very much necessary. But you can absolutely play a level 7. Oh, I do play 1. I forgot. I do play 1 level 7 synchro. But I don't play any level 7 synchro that I'd be using to banish off of the link monster. So I play 3 level 6s. I think they work well. I think this is a good number for the deck. And yeah, I've been playing the deck for a while, and I did this change a while ago, and I haven't changed it since it's really nice. For level 7 synchro, we play 1, and that's Clearwing Fast Dragon. So as a quick effect, you can target 1 face-up monster that your opponent controls. That'll special summon from the extra deck, negate its effects, and make its attack 0 until the end of the turn? Yeah, until the end of the turn. And if it's destroyed by a card effect or by battle, you can place it in the pen zone. And its pen effect isn't terrible. You can send 1 face-up Speedroid tuner and 1 face-up non-tuner control whose levels add up to 7, and then send them to the grave and then summon this. So you're basically synchroing from the pen scale. But that effect doesn't come up too often. But this is just a really nice card where it can be a good end board boss monster. So yeah, we play 1 of it. A really solid card, and I really like it. So now for the level 8 synchros, we play 2 Crystal Wing, obviously. Crystal Wing is an honorary Speedroid monster. So once per turn, it can negate a monster effect, and then if it destroys that monster, when your opponent activates a monster effect, obviously, or when anyone activates a monster effect, actually, it can negate that effect and destroy that monster, and then if it destroyed that monster, it gains attack equal to that monster's attack, and then if it battles a level 5 or higher monster, it can make its attack go up to equal to that monster's attack. So it means that any level 5 or higher monsters are not going to have a good time trying to out this guy. Really solid card. You play 2 of it because you can often make 2 of it in your end boards. And yeah, just a really, really great card. Next, for our last level 8, we play High Speedroid Kite Drake. So this card is insane. It's restricted by the fact that it needs a Wind Machine tuner and a non-tuner, and a lot of decks can't do that. But this card is really, really good. So if this card is synchro summoned, you can activate 1 of these effects. Destroy all other cards on the field, or negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls. These are both equally amazing effects for board breaking. And it also has an effect where if it's sent to the grave by an opponent's card, so it doesn't even have to be destroyed by battle or card effect, it just has to be sent to the grave by an opponent. It gets to add any Speedroid from your deck to your hand. So really solid card, really good for board breaking. It's just like a custom card in some ways. It literally just says either destroy all cards or negate all cards. It's really solid. Next, for a level 9 synchro, we play Virtual World Kyobi Shenshen. So Shenshen can be really nice in against some decks because it's like a mini Macrocosmos where any card sent from the field to graveyard is banished instead. So really nice card. If it attacks, you can return 1 banished monster, which can actually be really nice for returning a Denden Daikaduke in your banished pile to the graveyard. And then during the main phase, except the turn it was sent to the grave, you can banish 2 other monsters from your grave with the same original type and attribute. or no, sorry, with different original type and attributes, and summon this card from your graveyard. So if you used a hand trap like Ash Blossom or Effect Veiler, plus one of your Speedroids, you can banish them from the grave, summon this card from your graveyard if your opponent outs it. So really nice card. I play just the one level 9 Synchro. I don't think you need to play more than that. And just a really nice card against some decks. Also, the card art is phenomenal. I really like this card. So now for the last Synchro, we play Baronne de Fleur. So this is a German copy because it was cheap. That's the reason I have a German one. But fortunately, most people know this card, so it doesn't really matter. But its effect is just if a card or effect is activated, it can just negate it. It's an Omni negate. Once per turn, you can target one card in the field and destroy it. And also, during the standby phase, you can return it to the extra deck and summon a level 5 or lower monster from your graveyard. This can come up in situations where it's just turned back to you. You have a Baronne on the field that's used as negate because its negate is once while it's on the field. And then at that point, you know, if you don't need to use the pop effect, you can return to the extra deck and summon a monster from your grave that can give you follow-up so that you can OTK. So, nice card in a lot of regards. You play it because it's a win monster. It's like an honorary Speedroid boss monster, like Crystal Wing. Level 10, which is really easy for this deck to make. And yeah, just a really solid card. And yeah, really nice card. So now for the Link monsters, we only play 2, and that is the same monster, High Speedroid Rubber Band Shooter. So this card requires 2 wind monsters, and it's linked to. During the main phase, you can immediately, after the effect resolves, normal summon a wind from your hand. That's really nice. It locks you into synchros for the rest of the turn, but you don't really care about that. And then you can banish a wind synchro from your extra deck, and then reveal 2 Speedroid monsters whose levels add up to that monster's level, and then your opponent randomly selects one of the cards for you to add to your hand, and the other one goes to the grave. So this effect is really nice because it means you can banish a level 5 and reveal Terror Top and Marble Machine if you haven't used those yet, add one of them, and the other one gets sent to the grave. And then you can activate Rubber Band Shooter's effect to extra normal summon a monster, so the monster you just added, and then get a search and keep going. Really nice cards in a lot of ways. And yeah, just a really nice card. So that does it for the deck profile. I am going to show off one kind of combo / play you can do with the deck, and yeah, we'll just go from there then. Alright, so I did say I'd do a combo, but there's not really many combos in this deck. There's a lot, and I mean a lot of lines, and I tried to do a combo, like 1 Terror Top, but there was like 20 lines that it would just be impossible to show them all off in one video without it being super cluttered. So we're just going to do a test hand, and I can show off what the deck does when you have your full hand. So I'm just shuffling the deck here, and then we will draw 5 cards. Wheel, that's quite nice. Call by, always nice to have. Imperm, okay. Takatomborg, very nice in this hand, and Veiler. Okay, so we're gonna have to wheel here, discarding probably Veiler in this scenario. We'll roll our Cosmo Beat die and get a 4. Okay. 4 is quite alright with me. So we'll summon the dice, and we'll summon... I have to grab a non-tuner here. Or we could grab a tuner, but I feel like that's not helpful for us. We'll grab Ultra Hound. Dice and Ultra Hound. Okay. Next, we will special Takatomborg and use Takatomborg's effect in order to tribute itself to search out we'll grab Daiko Duke here. Next we will... I just hit the camera. Whoops. Okay, hopefully that's stable now. We'll link those 2 anyway to make High Speedroid Rubber Band Shooter, and we'll use Rubber Band Shooter's effect banishing So in this case, we haven't actually used our normal summon yet, so whatever we grab, we can then normal summon again. So I think the play is banish a 5 and search Marble Machine and Terratop. So yeah, we'll banish Kambara, and then we will find, or we could, no. We're gonna grab Marble Machine and Terratop since they both do the same thing here, because they're both gonna search Ultra Hound. I'm making them display as I go along. That's the thing with this deck. You're like coming up with, you're figuring out the lines as you're playing. So we're gonna find Marble Machine and Terratop, and we're gonna roll our dice again. Marble Machine will be 1, 2, 3. Terratop would be 4, 5, 6. Now, if I was with an opponent, I'd put these face down, like move them around, and be like, choose one. But we're not doing that. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, Terratop 1, 2, 3. Marble Machine 4, 5, 6. And we got a 2, so it's Terratop. That's fine. It doesn't really make a difference either way. So we will use our extra normal summon with Rubber Band to normal summon Terratop and use its effect in order to grab an Ultra Hound. Then we'll activate Ultra Hound, or not activate Ultra Hound, but normal summon Ultra Hound, and then send a duplicate. We will then activate duplicate on our Ultra Hound. Yeah, I had to think for a sec, but yes, on our Ultra Hound. Bring itself back. Synchro these two into our Cork Shooter. Cork Shooter's effect will activate, and we'll get to grab a Speedroid spell trap. So we will grab Duplicate again because we've already used Recovery. So that's going to be part of our end board. Then let's see from here. We have a Daiko Duke that can summon a red-eyed die, which is interesting. We can either go for Charge Warrior right now, or I think that's a play. We'll synchro these two, pretty sure, yeah, for Charge Warrior, so we can get an extra draw. Draw a card. Another Imperm. That's actually quite nice in this situation. Then we'll activate Daiko Duke in order to summon itself. What else do we have in grave? It's just Daiko Duke. Daiko Duke banish and then summon. We have a few choices here. We can either summon back the Cork Shooter and go into Shenshin with these two. We could then, or we could go into Juju as like a big beater, like big boss, not beater, but like a hard to out monster. Or we grab the red eye dice, which I think I'm gonna do. And target the yeah, I think it's kind of hard to tell. I think targeting Terratop and making it a 6 is the play, and then synchroing these two away for Fast Dragon. So then we've ended on Fast Dragon, Imperms, a Duplicate, which is a bounce, and a Call By, which, you know, would have protected us from our combos. Let's just kind of pretend it's not there. Let's just pretend for a little bit. This is still 4 disruptions, which is really nice. Plus we had the Call By as well. And we have follow-up with Ultra Hound. We follow up with Ultra Hound. So that's really nice. For turn, we will be drawing Wandering Griffin Rider. That's actually kind of funny. But yeah, this is what the deck can do in some scenarios. So in some cases, you're relying more on the cards that you draw and excavate to facilitate your end board. That's kind of one of the neat things about this deck. It can draw and add more disruption to its board, either through extenders or through actually adding them to your hand. So that's really nice. But yeah, this is just one example. We'll do another test hand now. We'll quickly do another one, because I do want to try and show off some more interesting boards. Because that was just kind of like triple monster negate plus bounce, which is by no means bad. That is quite solid for against a lot of decks. But I do want to show off some more diverse combos. So I'm just putting everything back. If you've ever noticed, I order stuff by like level and attack and stuff in my extra deck. I don't know if anyone else does that. I'm sure a lot of people do, but I always have to order my extra decks in certain ways. And I always order them as well. If they have different summoning mechanics, I'll order them by the most recent summoning mechanic, and then like links will be like at the back of the extra deck, and fusions will be at the front, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's just a little tidbit about me. But we're just shuffling the deck up now. I would like to show off, like I said, I want to show off more interesting end boards, but we'll see. Techaton board, really nice. Den Daigoduke, not so nice. Duplicate, okay, so we don't want to have to search that. Imperm, alright, it's back. And Wheel, okay, so we're going to have no search targets off of Corkscrewder that are going to be meaningful, apart from maybe getting another duplicate to our M board. I think in this situation we just start with Wheel, discarding Den Daigoduke. We're going to roll our Cosmo Beat die, get a 5, that is very nice actually, and I'll show you why. Because we can get any tuner, Car Turbo for example, because I don't think Den Daigoduke can summon itself. No, it can't. Like as in another Den Daigoduke. We'll grab it and we'll grab a Marble Machine. And the reason this is so nice is because this just instantly makes Hagoita, which is quite good. Quite good. Quite Hagoited. Hagoated. That's something. So already this makes double Crystal Wing if you want to make double Crystal Wing, but we're gonna go for some more fancier lines. We're still this goes in the extra deck. We're still going for Hagoita here because it's just an amazing card. But we're gonna summon Techaton, tribute it, and instead of going for another tuner, making Crystal Wing, bringing back said tuner with Den Daiko, and then bringing back Hagoita, making Crystal Wing numero dos, we're going to do a bit more of a fancy play. We're getting fancy with it. That is a line you can do, and that is perfectly fine, but I just want to see if I can show off even more of what this deck can do. So we're going to grab Piper, and we're going to excavate with Piper, so i.e. draw one card. It's Ultra Hound, that's actually quite nice. Link. Make the Rubber Band Shooter. Activate Rubber Band Shooter, I forgot to actually say I was activating it. Absolutely banishing a 5 here in this scenario because we want to show Terratop and Marble Machine. So there's the Marble Machine, and where is Terratop? There it is. Okay. 1, 2, 3, Marble Machine, 4, 5, 6, Terratop. 2. Okay, we got Marble Machine. Terratop goes to grave. Activate Rubber Band Shooter, and here we're going to normal summon Marble Machine and use its effect to grab Car Turbo, I believe. Yeah, Car Turbo. Okay, we will special Car Turbo. Possibly should have gone for the Hound instead, so I think I might actually just run that back. We're going to run that back, just rewind it, pretend it didn't happen, because I think in this scenario we actually want Ultra Hound, because we don't have any more level 5 synchros to actually go into. So we're going to normal Ultra Hound, send the other duplicate, and we're just going to get some follow-up going. Activate duplicate to bring itself back, synchro. Corkscrewder effect. Actually, you know what we could have done with the Marble Machine? Instead of, oh no, that would be terrible, never mind. I was gonna say we could add, wait a minute. See, this is the problem with the deck, like you just, okay, hang on. we're running it back again with what we originally did. See, this is the thing with the deck. Like, you have to make these decisions when you're not doing test hands. Like, when you're in an actual game, it's actually hard to make these decisions. So Duplicate goes back. Ultra Hound is back in hand. This is ridiculous. This is Graveyard. I did not just say ridiculous. You didn't hear that. Go to normal Marble Machine. Add Card Turbo. I know this is sad to watch, I'm sure, but it is what we are doing. Tis what we are doing. We're gonna activate Den Daiko. Bring back the Piper that I forgot I had. Whoops. And Synchro. Second Marble Machine in the extra deck. Into Stardust Charge Warrior to draw one card. This is much better. Who drew the second Duplicate? I'm simply that good. And then we will activate the Card Turbo in hand, activate the Hagoida Engrave, and that makes Crystal Wing. Synchro, make Crystal Wing. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 disruptions with follow-up. With Ultra Hounding in hand and with the Hagoita Engrave. So yeah, really, really fun deck. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think there's so much more you can do depending on the hand. You can get to Baronne very easy in this deck, depending, again, on the hand. But yeah, it's just I think it's a really solid deck. And yeah, if you like the video, please like it. Please subscribe. I am planning on making more videos. I do really want to make a Valence deck profile. It's a deck that I've been very interested in and that I've gotten very invested into. And I think it's a really interesting deck that goes kind of unnoticed because it was released alongside, I think, Runic. I think it was released alongside Runic and Purely, if I'm not mistaken. Or was that a different set? The Valence set. I think it was Runic and Purely. Or maybe it was a different... It was released alongside 2 archetypes that ended up being good, okay? Actually, no, it's not Purely, but it was with Runic. And I can't remember the other one. But anyways, it doesn't matter. I just think Valence goes unnoticed and I want to show off that deck. This deck is very cool. I think there's a lot of cool plays you can do. It's very good at breaking boards and going second and going first. But yeah. Yeah, if you like the video, like it. If you want to see more content, subscribe. I will be putting out more content during the summer. And yeah, this has been the Speedroid deck profile. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments and I will be sure to answer them. That's it. I keep trying to add more, but that's it. So thank you. I'll see you next time. And there definitely will be a next time and I won't go for 2 years. Probably. Goodbye.